Hi, I'm Mike Rowe, and believe it or not, I'm inside one of the most secure buildings on the face of the earth. Why? Because inside this building is a vault, and inside that vault are billions of dollars in solid gold bars, and two former mint directors standing by to answer my questions. It's not a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Today, it's not enough to just work hard. You have to save smart. Found him. Hey, guys.
Hey, Mike, good to see you.
Ed Moy, great to see you.
Yeah.
Hello, Philip
It's great
Diehl.
to see you, Mike.
How are you?
Great.
Philip was former Mint director under, was it Clinton?
Clinton, that's right. Yep.
And Ed, you were under Bush?
Yes, so we call him number 35, and I'm a number 38.
Look at me, bringing both sides together. Here in this undisclosed location, I know you can't tell me exactly where we are, but in simple terms, where are we?
You're inside of a very secure vault that has roughly $1 billion of precious metal in it.
That's so much money and so much gold. And this is, for the record, an undisclosed location.
Yeah,
Philip?
that's absolutely right. The security here is incredible. Ed and I have both been in Fort Knox, and I was impressed when I walked in.
I wanted to come here, first of all, because it's always fun to talk to you guys, but mostly I just feel like people today want to see the thing that we talk about. You know, there's a lot of broken trust. You know, you can't see Bitcoin, you can't get into the cloud, but the idea of being able to see this, why is it so important for people who are thinking about their retirement?
Well, here, let me illustrate it to you. This is the difference. Would you like to have that in your retirement?
Yes, I would. That would be great. This is obviously, what, 25, 30 pounds?
Yeah, so this is a standard gold bar that's used among central banks, you know, government banks. It's 400 ounces, weighs roughly 27 pounds. And, you know, just do the math. This is worth about $800,000.
Okay, so what is the significance of this place? And why should somebody like me who's trying to do his due diligence and figure out what real diversification looks like in this day and age, why should we be aware that this is here?
Well, there's really two principal ways to own gold. One is to take possession of it, simply to buy it and take possession, either in your home or in a safe deposit box in your bank. Another way is to acquire it through a retirement vehicle.
So if I have gold in my IRA, like for instance,
Like
I mean,
that's 1 kilo right there.
okay, and the information on the back of this links this specifically to a family, an individual, to me.
Yeah.
Ed, can you speak to why so many people are surprised when they realize that they can own gold in an IRA like this?
So gold's been around for 5,000 years. Ancient Egyptians mentioned it as an asset. Gold's been used as money for almost 2,500 years. Gold stopped being used as money in 1972. And in 1986, the US government approved private ownership of gold. So that's relatively new. And in 1997, the government approved gold IRAs. And so this is a relatively new product for many of us who didn't grow up around gold.
So in terms of getting that message out, I mean, I would think that financial advisors and investment professionals and so forth would educate their clients, but it doesn't seem to quite be happening.
Yeah, I think that's something that we've really begun to tackle at U.S. Money Reserve, is we understand that very few Americans really understand the value proposition, what the value is of gold to them as part of an investment portfolio. And so that's part of the education that we're doing. And we're having to do that because, number one, financial advisors are often as in the dark about the value of gold and the role of gold in a portfolio as the general public is. So I think ignorance is in the financial sector is a big factor. But another factor that we're aware of is that when people buy gold, they buy and hold it. for the long term.
Right.
And if they take 10 or 20% of their portfolio and put it into gold, that 10 or 20% is not traded. And of course, financial advisors get paid based on trade.
So today, Ed, what do you think are the biggest confusions that surround the decisions somebody might want to make with regard to getting some of this tangibly into their IRA?
Yeah. Most people don't think gold and IRA. So that's issue number one, is when I think about my retirement, I think about stocks, I think about bonds, I think about putting cash in an account, I think about a mutual fund, but I don't think about gold. And the reason why that weakens your portfolio is everything I just mentioned fluctuates with the value of the dollar. The thing that works opposite, meaning when the dollar goes down, it goes up, is precious metals like gold. And so if you don't have gold in your portfolio, you don't have a diversified, balanced portfolio.
Nobody's got a crystal ball,
Yeah.
but we can be pretty sure of a couple of things, one of which is diversity never hurt anybody, right?
Right.
And that's the bottom line. It seems like in whatever measure is right for you, some ought to be mandatory.
So when I became mint director in 2006, everything was hunky-dory, and the mint was selling roughly 200,000 ounces of gold bullion to individual investors each year. That was steady state. By the time the financial crisis hit and the Great Recession sunk in, our production went from 200,000 ounces to 1.4 million ounces, 700% increase. The mint had to produce in order to try to meet the demand for gold. So you have to ask the question, why were people buying gold during that time, right?
Right.
Well, they were financial crisis. If you remember, we didn't know if the financial system would survive or not. And so people weren't sure if the dollar was the safest bet or where the stocks would be. And the safest place to put their money was in gold, and that's why that demand went up. But when I was mint director, I looked at that demand and said, okay, how much is going to investors trying to hedge against losing? And what I found was a growing number of individuals were putting that gold into IRAs.
It wasn't until that economic disaster where people began to wake up. They saw the performance of gold in hard times and how that offset the losses in virtually every other asset class. And when they saw that, people began to wake up to the value of gold as a hedge against hard times. So that's really what we talk about, and in terms of making the value proposition about gold. But the other element to it is that gold also has a track record over the last 25 years of going up in good times as well. So it's especially strong in hard times in protecting a portfolio, but it also performs in good times.
As an asset.
Yes.
Permission to make a clunky metaphor, Ed?
Yep.
I'm in line at the buffet. I'm hungry. My plate's empty. There's all this stuff. If that's my portfolio, if that's my retirement, and peas are gold, how many peas should I have on my plate?
Well, it all depends on whether you're diabetic or not, and whether you're trying to lose
I'm
weight
not
or
allergic
not,
to gold.
right?
I'm
Yeah,
good.
yes, yeah. So you really do need someone to help you walk through that buffet line and make sure you don't fill up on carbs and get to some of the good stuff, right? And that's one of the things that, as you started your question, what was running through my mind is so much gold sales depends on fear. Right? And that's one reason why both Philip and I are associated with U.S. Money Reserve. Here you have the only company that has not only one mint director, but two mint directors and one Republican and one Democrat, one tall one and one short one. So we're balanced. But the reason why we're here is U.S. Money Reserve focuses so much on the education piece, not the fear piece. And that's why we have a lot of staff that have gotten all these accolades and awards, because they spend time with people trying to figure out what their financial needs are and working backwards to see whether a gold IRA fits in their portfolio or whether gold makes sense and what proportion of their portfolio should be in gold.
And that work that we've put into education has turned into the best educational material in the industry. No question about it. And it's available free. You don't have to buy from us. You can get that free. And of course, that helps us. It helps establish a relationship and a relationship of trust with customers. Trust is the foundation. In fact, it's the reason why Ed and I are with this company. We had outstanding reputations at the United States Mint of customer service and building trust in the organization. And so we have found a home for that here at this company.
Look, me too. I spent most of my career working with regular people, and I think that there's this idea that gold might be for people who have already hit it out of the park or who are very wealthy or whatnot. But just for the average family who just wants to hedge their bets, just make it as clear as you can, Phil. Why? Why is this relevant to them, and why is it compelling?
It's compelling because you can protect your wealth by including gold as part of your portfolio, but you're not sacrificing wealth appreciation during good times because gold goes up during good times as well. So it may not go up as much as a higher risk asset during those times, but it's not as though gold is going to go down. And the other thing to remember is, gold has been around as an asset class for about 5,000 years. I mean, there have been a lot of Johnny-come-latelys over the last couple of decades in financial innovation products, and they are no substitute for that track record of gold. Gold has never gone to zero. And so there's
Whereas
this
during
security.
that time, Lehman Brothers stock went to
Yes.
zero. Argentinian bonds went to
Yes,
zero.
Yeah,
Look,
Enron went to zero.
So how easy, and be honest, I'm not a paperwork kind of guy. Most people, just the thought of it is daunting. What's it really take?
Yep. So I can tell you what I went through when I first did mine, when the program was relatively new in the country. And I have a U.S. money reserve gold IRA, and I'll tell you what the difference is. The first one, I had to find a custodian, an independent custodian to manage it, an IRA self-directed administrator. I had to find an IRS-approved depository.
My eyes are glazing over already.
Absolutely.
I'm like, what?
Right. And so it was a lot of work to sign up for the first one. That was my own independent one. Then I come across U.S. Money Reserve, and they've done something that no other company that I'm aware of has. They have a liaison team. I call one number, I talk to one agent who's there to educate me, and they do all the work. They ask me all these questions, help sort out how much I need to do. And the next thing you know, I get a DocuSign document where I check, and the transaction's done.
He's making it sound awfully easy, Philip. Is he?
So easy that I could do it.
So easy that a former mint director could do it.
Yes.
But you concur?
Yeah, absolutely. It's as simple as that. Telephone call, questions, making decisions, and then the U.S. Money Reserve representative does all the paperwork.
So to sum up, there are two basic categories. If you're ready to rebalance or diversify your IRA, you can know that an actual hard, tangible asset is going to be living in a place like this, pegged directly to you, right?
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
And if you simply want to own some of the asset itself, then you handle that.
Yes.
A safe, your home, a lockbox,
Yep.
whatever.
Yes, and the crucial thing is under both scenarios, you own the gold. One is stored here as part of a retirement package, and you can get access to it under the rules that the IRS has established. But the other opportunity is to own it and take possession of it. But either way, you own the gold.
Yep. And that's unlike a mutual fund, where you own a share in a mutual fund, but you don't actually own the stocks that mutual fund owns.
Well, this is the point I tried to make when we started talking. People today, I feel like, are a little freaked out because they can't really see their mutual fund. They can see a screen with numbers on it. You can't really see into the cloud. You can't really see blockchain or Bitcoin. it's nice to see the thing.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, folks, I wish you were here. I wish you could. I
He's
mean,
not faking it either.
it's only 27 pounds. But daggone it.
But it's in a really small package, right?
Don't think of it as 27.5 pounds. Think of it as $800,000 of your future. All right, how do we get out of here?
So, is gold right for you? That's not for me to say. You got to do your own due diligence. Just call the number on the screen. The folks at U.S. Money Reserve are standing by to help. As for me, I'm currently sitting on a ton of silver, and that feels pretty good.